In this tutorial, we'll look at using advanced search features and a little bit about Boolean searching. We're going to finish with a small examination of sorting your items once you've found them. So we start by clicking on Catalog, and right down here we're going to choose Advanced Search. So you see we have two options, Option 1 Multi-Field and Option 2 Boolean. So if we take, for instance, international development in quotation marks, choose subject, and then add democracy, subject. This little and right here means that we're only going to find items that will include subject headings for both of these items, international development and democracy. So if we click on this first item, look at the subjects, we have democracy, and we have this other item that we saw in the earlier tutorial, United States Agency for International Development Evaluation, which we saw was under our international development subject heading. So you can mix and match these terms. You could do a subject search, international development, and combine it with, let's say, you knew of some author named Allen. And now we're looking for items that have an author named Allen and that are under the subject international development. We have two items. Looking at our other option 2 with the Boolean search, we see that if we put in international development and democracy, choose subject, we end up with the same 5 items that we got in section 1, or pardon me, using option 1. If we change this and to or, we're now searching for items with the subject international development or democracy. Now, if you remember, both international development and democracy individually got us a lot of items. And see, we find here we have 13,358 items, which is a lot. The point is, fiddle around with this and play with it. Keep track of your search terms, and you can mix and match using and, or. You can also use a Boolean search where you look for items that are near one another. Now we will turn to sorting. So let's look up international development again, subject. So you've got your 244 items under international development. So when it comes to sorting, you have a number of options. Right now, the default is sorted by relevance, how close it is to international development. You can sort this by title. This can be helpful. It's going to organize them alphabetically. Personally, I never use this myself, but I could see uses for it. Author, I could see being more useful if you had some idea of the author's name but weren't quite sure, but you knew they had written something on international development. This one, publication date, is one that I use very frequently. More often than not, you'll want the most up-to-date research. Which book came out most recently? And by hitting publication date, it's going to put the most recent books at the top and the oldest books at the bottom. You can switch this and search, or pardon me, sort by the oldest items. So the oldest items will be at the top and the newest at the bottom. I find that I rarely use this, but it could be of use for you if you're doing more historical work, for instance. This concludes our tutorial on the advanced search, Boolean searching, and sorting.